A man on vacation discovers an entire village is terrified of him because they believe he already came here 2 years ago, committed arson, killed his best friend in a car accident, and vanished. Welcome to Alex's Story Time on IMX. Today's story comes from Lei, a Beijing native born in 1982, whose profession is of video editing. This is a strange incident that Lei encountered in 2007 when he was 25 years old. To this day, Lei is unclear about what exactly happened, and for him, it remains an unsolved mystery. At that time, he had just found a new job at a new company and had a few days before officially starting. Taking advantage of this time, he decided to visit the western part of Beijing for a trip. Beijing is a city surrounded by mountains on the north, west, and east side, with the closest mountain to the city on the west side belonging to Mentogo district in Beijing, and the scenery there is quite beautiful. Lei had no specific destination and did not make a travel plan. He just drove around carefully. As it was getting dark, he arrived at a village with a very beautiful scenery. He stopped the car and walked around, feeling particularly happy to be in this place. So he thought he would stay here for a few days because the scenery was too beautiful. So he locked his car, took his luggage, and entered the village. The village was not crowded, as it was neither the weekend nor the peak tourist season. He saw a sign for a farmhouse in and within. In the courtyard, he saw an old lady picking vegetables. The old lady saw a stranger entering and quickly stood up to Lei and said, "Young man, are you here to stay?" Before Lei could answer, he saw the old lady's expression changed. Lei said, "Ah, yes, auntie. Isn't this a farmhouse inn?" Lei felt puzzled. What did this aunt mean? Was she not welcoming me to stay? The aunt said, "Young man, have you been here before?" Lei said, "No, I haven't." "This is definitely my first time here, ma'am. Is there a problem? Please just tell me directly." The aunt said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I mistook you for someone else. I'm old and my eyesight is not good. I'm sorry. Lei asked, "Can I stay here?" The aunt said, Yes. We just need to register your ID card." Lei took out his ID card to register, and the aunt carefully looked at the ID card, muttering Lei's name under her breath. After registering, she returned the ID card to Lei and asked, "First time here, young man?" Lei said, "Yes. What's going on?" The aunt awkwardly smiled and said, It's nothing. Then she shouted, "Yingzi, get a room ready." Another woman responded, "Okay," and came out of another room. This lady, named Yingzi, saw Lei, and her expression also changed as she asked the old lady, "Mom, why is he here?" The aunt said, "Yingzi, this young man is here for the first time." Lei got a bit anxious. "What do you mean? Can I stay here or not? If not, I can find another place." The aunt said, "I'm sorry, young man. Yingzi mistook you for someone else." "Please don't mind." Yingzi also apologized. Although Lei was not happy, he was tired from traveling and said, All right. Get the room ready." Yingzi took Lei to a room that was very clean and tidy, with a very comfortable bed. Yingzi asked, "How do you like this room?" Lei said, "It's great. I'll take it." Yingzi asked, "Have you had dinner? If not, you can eat here." Lei had dinner there. The food was delicious. And then he went to bed early, waking up at 8 a.m. the next day. Lei went out and met Yingzi, who asked if he wanted breakfast. Lei said he never ate breakfast and was going out to play, returning for lunch at noon. He said goodbye to her Outside, the sun was shining brightly. The scenery was very good. The air was fresh, and he slowly walked up the mountain. From the top, he could see the whole village. The ancient village, trees, and mountains combined like a very beautiful painting. Lei couldn't help but sigh that he was busy with his work every day, sitting in front of the computer for the whole day and another, which was really boring. He would definitely come back here when he had time. He was in a very good mood and continued to walk while enjoying the scenery. Then he found a small temple on the top of the mountain, but it seemed to have been burnt. Upon closer inspection, he saw an old man kneeling in front of the Buddha's statue. Muttering to himself, they did not dare to disturb him and stood at a distance watching. After a few minutes, the old man knelt the Buddha's statue, stood up, and turned around to see Lei, startled as he had not heard any noise and did not know Lei was standing behind him. Lei smiled and apologized. "Hi, sir, I'm sorry." But when the old man saw Lei's face, he pointed at Lei and said, "Why are you here again?" Lei thought to himself, "Damn it, are all the villagers crazy?" He approached the old man and said, "Sir, take a good look. Have you mistaken me for someone else? This is my first time here." The old man took a step back, looked at Lei carefully, and then said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong." Then he turned and left. Lei tried to stop the old man, saying, "Sir, don't rush off. Tell me, who did you think I was?" The old man seemed a bit afraid of Lei and did not answer his question, hurrying down the mountain. Lei thought it was strange. What's wrong with me? It's really inexplicable. So he decided to leave and not stay here anymore. He hurried down the mountain, thinking about what had happened since he arrived at this village. He was so distracted that he fell right in front of a courtyard gate. Someone in the courtyard heard the noise and came out to see what happened. Lei was still on the ground, embarrassed. A man in his 30s came out of the yard and quickly helped Lei up, saying, "Come to my house to wash up. Your hand is bleeding." He took Lei into his yard, turned on the faucet for Lei to wash his hand, and then went back to the house to get a band-aid. After Lei finished the washing, he put the band-aid on Lei's hand and said, "Watch the road when you walk in the mountains. The road is uneven. Are you here to visit and play?" Lei replied, "Yes, the scenery is great, and this village is really beautiful." The man asked, "Where are you staying?" Lei said, "At the one by the village entrance, closest to the parking lot." The man said, "Oh, that's Grandma Han's house. It's quite good there. If you come again, you can stay at our house. Our conditions are among the best in the village, and my mother's cooking is especially delicious. Here is my name card. Call before you come, and I'll leave you a room." Lei took the card and saw that the man's surname was Wang. Lei said, "Thank you, Brother Wang." Wang said, "Oh, you're welcome. Sit down and have a cup of tea." Lei sat down and said, "Brother Wang, I have a question." Wang said, "Go ahead." Lei said, "Has someone who looks like me ever come to our village before? I'm actually visiting for the first time, but several people have mistaken me for someone else, and everyone seemed quite afraid of me. Do you know what's going on?" Wang said, "I really don't know. I returned to the village last year. I was working outside before. At this time, someone inside the house shouted, 'Who is it? Do we have a guest?' Wang said, 'Mom, here comes a friend. Come out for a moment. He has something to ask you.' Wang's mother came out of the house and walked towards where Wang and Lei were sitting. Then stopped in a sudden, pointing at Lei and saying, 'It's you. Why are you back? What do you want? I will call the police.' Lei knew that she must have mistaken him for someone else again. It seemed that something must have happened here, and he must get to the bottom of it. At this time, Vaughn said, "Mom, you've mistaken him for someone else. This brother is visiting a village for the first time." Vaughn's mother approached Lei, looked closely, and then said, "Oh, you look so much alike. You don't have a scar. I'm sorry. I've mistaken you for someone else." Lei said, it's okay. I've been to this village since yesterday, and several people have mistaken me for someone else. At my accommodation, and just now at a small temple on a mountain, an old man mistook me for someone else, and they seemed quite afraid of me. What's going on? One's mother sighed, sat down on a chair next to her, and said, "Well, let me tell you. Let's see. It's been 2 years since this happened. Son, you weren't back then, so you don't know. No one is willing to talk about this." Lei asked, "What exactly happened, Auntie?" Vaughn's mother then recounted the events that occurred about 2 years ago, right after the Spring Festival. She remembered it was the day after the Lantern Festival. A young man, an art teacher, came to their village and was particularly fond of the scenery, planning to stay for a month. This young man was very humorous and enjoyed chatting with people. His name was Zheng Jian. She remembered his name because he showed her his ID and said, "Auntie, this is my ID. The ID card is Zheng Jian in Chinese, and my name is Zheng Jian. He stayed at the Han's house when he came to our village." One mother continued, "Because this name is so special, I remember it right away. Let me explain. IDs, passports, and driver's license are all considered identification documents. And this art teacher's name is the same as the word for these documents, but different characters. It's like saying, this is my ID and my name is ID." A week later, everyone in the village knew him. He loved to chat and was very good at painting. If someone invited him for a meal, he would paint a picture for their child or elder, and the paintings were particularly good. The villagers all liked this art teacher. Half a month later, another person came to the village. I remember this day very clearly. The second day of the second lunar month is a small festival called Dragon Head Raising Day. Everyone would make a special dish called spring pancakes. That day, I happened to go out and saw Zheng Jian going up the mountain to sketch. He passed by my house, and I called out to him, "Come to my house for spring pancakes later." Zheng Jian said, "Auntie, I can't come to your house today. I'll go back to Auntie Han's house." Note, Auntie Han's house was where Lei was staying. When I walked down, I saw another young man going up the mountain. This person was looking for Zheng Jian. He called out Zheng Jian's name, and Zheng Jian heard him and talked with this young man. This seemed very familiar. Zheng told me that this person's name was Peng, and he was his classmate. And there is another word in front of Peng, but I cannot recall what it was. Let me call him Peng. Our village has many tourists, and I did not pay much attention. Later, I saw that young man named Peng a few more times. This person had a strange look in his eyes. He always squinted at people, and he had a red scar above his temple, a backward check mark. I was afraid when I saw him. This person might have a problem in his mind. He talked nonsense in the village, saying that the villagers wanted to kill him, not only him, but also Zheng Jian. When Zheng Jian chatted with us, he was not happy, and forbade Zheng Jian from chatting with villagers, making Zheng Jian very embarrassed every time. One night, I had already gone to bed when I heard a lot of noise in the village. As if there was a fight. I went out to see him, and it was Peng, arguing with several villagers. His voice was very loud, and he was very excited. Then, as he spoke, he walked up the mountain. He said, "Zheng Jian, why don't you believe me? You can't even tell good people from bad people." Some villagers were very unhappy when they heard him say these things and asked Peng, "You tell me, who wants to harm me?" Then Peng started running up the mountain, and the villagers followed him. I shouted at them, "Don't hit him!" Then this group of people went up the mountain. In a short while, the mountain caught fire. Peng set fire to the villagers' Guanyin Buddha temple. Everyone started to put out the fire, and then several young people controlled Peng, saying they would call the police. Zheng Jian was also there, kneeling to everyone, apologizing, and saying that he would bear all the losses caused today, begging everyone not to call the police. That Peng was like a mad dog, taking out a knife, and stabbing his thigh until it bled. Then he shouted with the knife, "I set the fire. If anyone wants to take revenge, here is the knife. Kill me." This guy was really sick. Who would take a knife and kill him? Everyone said, "You guys should leave now." Zheng Jian kept apologizing and gave money. The next morning, he picked up his things and left with his friend. Then Wang's mother said to Lei, "You should not blame anyone. Everyone thought you were that mad dog. That bastard burned our Guanyin Buddha temple." Wang's mother continued, "They left at noon, and Peng drove Zheng Jian's car. But in the afternoon, news came that not far from our village, going downhill, near the first tunnel, there is a sharp U-turn where a car fell into the river at the bottom of the mountain. At that time, our village's accountant was returning from the city and happened to see the car accident and remembered the license plate number. He suspected it was Zheng Jian's car. He came back and checked with the Han family, and sure enough, the license plate number was the same. Zheng Jian had always stayed at the Han family, and they knew his license plate number. Han's son drove to see and confirmed it was Zheng Jian's car. He called the police immediately. The police came and found a body in a car, which was Zheng Jian. But at that time, it was Peng who left with Zheng Jian, and it was Peng who drove. Several villagers saw it. But where did Peng go? Did he run away? Zheng Jian, such a good young man, died. But that bad guy ran away. Everybody suspected that he drove the car into the river, saw Zheng Jian dead. He got scared and ran away. I feel particularly upset. Such a good young man died like this. Peng should have died. He caused all the trouble and set fire to our Guanyin Buddha temple. The police also came to talk to villagers for further investigation, but we don't know how this matter was handled in the end. But no one in the village wants to talk about this. It's hard to bear. One's mother said to Lei, "I was startled when I saw you just now, but this matter has nothing to do with you. Don't mind and don't blame us. You and that Peng are too similar." After listening to the whole story, Lei also felt uncomfortable. It was really inexplicable. Originally, the scenery here was particularly good, and he wanted to stay a few more days. Well, forget it. Go home. Lei said goodbye to Brother Wang and his mother, returned to the Han's house, packed his things quickly, got in the car, and went home. On the way, he kept thinking about this matter and couldn't help but sigh that there were too many coincidences in the world. About 10 days later, Lei officially started his new job at the company. His video editing skills were very high, and he was very busy with work. He was busy for several months until the Golden Week of the National Day in China. Lei's junior high school classmates organized a gathering. The monitor called everyone to hold a 10th anniversary class reunion. They found a place to eat, chat, and ask each other what they were doing, whether they were married, had children, where their wives were from, and whether they were planning to have a second child. A classmate asked, "Who has been in contact with Erlang?" The monitor said, "I've seen him." The classmate said, "Oh, Golden Horn. Tell us what Erlang has been doing recently." Note, everybody, that the classmates call each other by nicknames, and these nicknames all come from the journey to the west. Who is Erlang? Erlang is Yang Jian. Because his name is very similar to Yang Jian in a journey to the west. And Yang Jian is also called Yang Erlang. So this classmate named Yang Jian got the nickname Erlang. The monitor is called Golden Horn, a monster in a journey to the west. Lei was fat when he was in junior high school, so his name comes from the journey to the west. Tang Seng's second disciple, Zhu Bajie. Zhu Bajie was originally a marshal in heaven, punished for teasing Chang'e and became a pig evil. Later, he followed Tang Seng to the west to retrieve the scripture. Because he was originally the heavenly marshal Tianpeng, Lei's nickname was Tianpeng. The first disciple is familiar to everyone, the Monkey King Sun Wukong. The monitor continued. 3 years ago, my cousin wanted to go to an art training class, and I went to register with him. Unexpectedly, the teacher was Yang Jian. We chatted, and I learned that he studied art later, held an art exhibition, and is now a teacher at a painting training institution. It is said that he is quite famous. When I was about to leave, he gave me a business card with his phone number. I invited him this time, but the phone couldn't get through. Oh, Yang Jian has changed his name now. His name is Zheng Jian. I asked him why, and he said his parents divorced, and now he follows his mother's surname. So he changed his name to Zheng Jian and said to me, "This name is so easy to remember. The ID card is Zheng Jian in Chinese, and my name is Zheng Jian." Lei's head buzzed and became confused. What? Zheng Jian is Zheng Jian. Zheng Jian. The monitor said to Lei, "Tianpeng, you had the best relationship with him at the time. At first, we all called you Bajie, and Zheng Jian defended you, saying your name was Tianpeng. Tianpeng is much nicer. Zheng Jian, the painter. His friend Tianpeng and I look very similar." Lei's sweat had already started to flow down his back, and his hair stood up. But the strange things he encountered in a village a few months ago, none of his classmates knew. The monitor saw Lei's pale face and the sweat on his forehead, and asked him what was wrong. Lei said he just drank too fast. Then he stood up and went to the bathroom. Lei went to the bathroom, washed his face with cold water, and then looked at himself in the mirror. I don't have a scar on my face. It's not me. This matter has nothing to do with me, right? His heart was very chaotic. He returned to his seat and said goodbye to his classmates. He needed to be quiet now and did not want to continue chatting here. After leaving the hotel door, his mind was full of the things he encountered in the mountain village, and what the monitor just said. The painting teacher Zheng Jian, originally named Yang Jian. The one who went to the mountain village to find Zheng Jian was called Tianpeng. Tianpeng is my nickname. Then, Tianpeng had an accident in Zheng Jian's car. Zheng Jian died on the spot, and Tianpeng ran away. This is too coincidental. Suddenly, Lei felt himself flying up. He just noticed that he was hit by a car when crossing the road. In fact, Lei did not violate any traffic rules and walked on a pedestrian road. However, the driver was on the phone and turned left without noticing Lei, hitting Lei and flying him out. Fortunately, the speed was not fast, and Lei was only slightly injured. The driver was fully responsible, took Lei to the hospital for treatment, and compensated Lei with some money. However, Lei's forehead was scratched and stitched 8 times. A week later, Lei went to the hospital to remove the stitches. On the way home, he suddenly thought of something and rushed back home. When he arrived home, he went to the bathroom to check the scar on his forehead. He looked in a mirror and saw the scar, a red scar above his temple, a backward check mark. This matter has been bothering Lei for a long time. He has been thinking about these questions. What is the connection between these strange coincidences? What about the missing old classmate Zheng Jian? Is he dead or alive? Did I drive Zheng Jian's car down the mountain and kill him? Zheng Jian left the monitor a business card, but the monitor tried to call the cell phone number for classmates' gathering, but failed. So, is it because he's dead? Why did Tianpeng say that the villagers wanted to kill him and Zheng Jian? What exactly happened? Where did Tianpeng go after the car accident? Lei comforted himself. Maybe they are the disorders of the parallel world. I did not go to that village to find Zheng Jian. We were not so close after I graduated from junior high school. I did not drive the car down the mountain. I did not kill him. Maybe these incidents were happened in the other world. These questions have no answers, and Lei doesn't have the courage to investigate the answers. In addition, up to now, Lei has not encountered any more strange things. So this is the end of the whole story. Please share what you think of the story and your stories. If you enjoy my work and would like to help me continue to bring this story to you, please subscribe to my channel or like my page. Give a thumbs up to the stories you appreciate. And share your thoughts and opinions in the comments. I love to read them. Share the stories with anyone who might find them enjoyable. And I need a co-editor, a native English speaker to make these stories better. Thank you, everybody. This is Alex's Story Time, and I am X. I got a lot of good stories to share with you. So, see you next one. Bye-bye, everybody.